couple claiming to be descendants of, I suppose, African royalty, I guess, have declared a Scottish woodland their kingdom. They call it the Kingdom of Kabbalah, and they say it is reparations for an act of Queen Elizabeth I over 400 years ago. And they're currently camping in the woods near Jedburgh, I think, on the Scottish border. And here it is. Here's the actual town itself. I'm not sure which woods they're in, but here it is. Here's the Scottish border. There is England. Here is Scotland. And I would guess, if I use my camping skills, they're probably in this woods. Don't go and bother them, that would be weird. But I don't know why they're here of all places. It doesn't necessarily look like the kind of place where you would expect them to be, right? And I just don't get it. Like, why are they there at all? But anyway, let's look at who they are. So, oh, it's not working. Why is my box not working?
Because of your...
There we go.
Comments before.
Is that them?
That's them.
Oh.
So here's all three of them, because they have a sort of cult thing going. But it's only three of them, because it's not taken off yet.
Start of something. You know.
But that gentleman in the middle is there.
Is he in a trance?
Why
Yeah,
is this
he's
not
likely.
working?
Do you want this one?
Does that one work?
Yeah, this one works.
Right.
You try it again?
Oh, that worked. Hang on.
Yeah.
There we go. Here he is. So for some reason he's got a stick in his mouth. He's rolled his eyes back into his head. That makes him a king for some reason.
Are those pine cones?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Feathers.
Interesting
Can he
crown.
see or not?
I think he can see.
With his
those
mind's eye.
I don't know. I think he's rolling his eyes back, but who knows? I also don't know why he's got a stick in his mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
has he seen a dog do that and he's jealous, or I don't know. But this guy is called Coffee Offer. That's his name. Very Scottish.
Right.
And he styles himself as King Atahihi of the North. It's your true king in the North
How did
here.
you find out about this? Is this like what corners of the internet did you find this from?
I dwell in dark places, Lewis. And he claims descent from the Messiah, of course.
Okay.
And he previously, the Messiah that is, lived in Stockton-on-Tees, as most messiahs do, in County Durham, before moving to Scotland. And he's a former opera singer, which you never would have guessed. Surprising no one, he has a history of psychiatric hospital admission.
Oh, really?
I know.
What is your assessment on that, Josh?
Seems pretty reasonable. Another person involved in this is this lady. This is his wife. This is Jean Gasho. She's from Zimbabwe. He's
Jean
from
what?
Gasho.
Oh, Gasho.
He's from Ghana, and she calls herself Queen Nandi. Very modest people, anointing themselves royalty. She also previously lived in Durham County, and she complained about Durham County Council taking her 7 children away. By the way, these people are African, and now our taxpayers have to support their 7 children, which they brought here from Africa, because they were charged with child cruelty in 2023, but the charges were dropped, and they were originally accused of child cruelty and domestic abuse as well. So, lovely people.
So reward them for that.
Reward them for... What do you mean, reward them?
You said that the taxpayers are sustaining them despite the fact that they were charged for child abuse.
Well, they weren't. The charges were dropped.
Okay.
And the children had been taken into care, that's why.
Right.
And, yeah, one thing that she did say, was she complained about one of her youngest children being placed with a gay couple, which is interesting.
Right.
Some food for thought. You wouldn't have necessarily guessed that, but now for something a bit different. The third lady, also with a stick in her mouth, is
Number 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Chain in command. You know.
She is. She's like the handmaiden or the servant to the king and queen.
You see, she has God tattooed on her arm.
Mm-hmm. But she's also a wife of the king.
Oh,
He's got a
polygamy.
second wife. Yeah.
Polygamy.
Yeah,
Right.
well, everyone knows the Scots are a bit like that. I'm not having a go. Half Scottish, all right. This is Cora Taylor from Texas.
We said Corey Taylor,
Corey
lead
Taylor.
singer of Slipknot.
He's changed a bit in the years. She calls herself Lady Safi or Asnat. And yes, Don't know how she can both be a wife and a servant to the king as well. She's a busy lady, I guess. But you can see from the pictures, she is of a lower rank. She has to sit on the dirty ground while they sit on what looks like probably camping chairs with dirty Tupperwares in the background. This is truly a bountiful kingdom. It looks wonderful.
There's the grand hall.
And here she is.
Oh, in a modern tent.
in a modern tent with what looks like quite a boutique pop-up
Her manner.
makeup dress.
Yeah, it's a makeup dresser, yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
Got the stick in the mouth, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a good little bushcraft brush there. I'll give them that. Although the blue gaffer tape there, sort of cheating.
I'd love to spend like a day with them actually and document that. That would be really fun.
So would I.
That'd be really funny.
If you're watching this in the woods there, reach out to me. I want to come and visit. Not only because I like camping, but I think it'll be interesting.
I won't follow.
I'll join. That'd be funny.
So let's talk about what they believe. So here he is.
Iron brew.
So he only talks to outsiders if he's given gifts of shortbread and iron brew, which is about as stereotypically Scottish as it can possibly get. And the funny thing is, my grandparents, it's a stereotype. My grandparents, I don't think ever were without shortbread and iron brew in their house.
Oh my God.
So I grew up on iron brew. They changed the formula.
Is this mockery? Is this like sly mockery?
I don't really know. I don't think so. I think he's just a bit crazy.
Right.
At least he's trying to become Scottish. I mean,
she's having a good time. She's like in the interaction.
She's gonna get a bit of that shortbread later. Right?
Yeah, she's like, that's a bit.
That sounds like a euphemism. Now I didn't even mean it that way. So they say they're reclaiming the land after Queen Elizabeth I ordered the expulsion of the Black Jacobites, as they say, but really it was the Black Moors. But we'll get into the history. But this happened in 1596.
Where were they at Culloden?
We'll be getting to Culloden as well, actually.
Oh, okay, good.
Presaged, well done. You know your Scottish history.
Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellaheen condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotuseaters.com.
So he says the prophecy foretold of their return after 400 years to re-establish their lost tribe. Of course, 400 years ago there was a lost tribe in the Scottish woodlands, the borderlands between England, that just mysteriously no one documented, despite being probably the most interesting and unique thing of that Scottish borderland. Is that, hang on a minute, what are all these weird people doing that we don't understand? But he claims the land belongs to God and not councils or governments. I mean, at least I agree with him on something. Makes me sound like a communist. I mean it in the sense of, I don't like the government. But here's the letter that they're referencing from Elizabeth I.
Right.
You probably will struggle to read that handwriting, not insulting, the very late Queen's
No, I can't read that.
handwriting, but here's a rough transcript there. It's obviously written in the language of the time, but basically it's saying, please gather up all of these Black Moors, as she calls them, as in Moor means North African. So what was actually going on was there was many in England, and they were basically becoming a financial burden because they had to be looked after by the state. Some things never change. And we're resorting to crime again. Some things never change. They were also serving in wealthy households as footmen and musicians, and the Queen herself retained a black maidservant, as they were sort of seen as oddities and status symbols. As many aristocrats, they would get nice ornate vases and the like from the Orient and things like that, where if you have something exotic, it makes you more important, basically. It was sort of that mindset. But England was in a state of undeclared war with the Spanish Habsburg Empire, at this time of the letter being written. And because we had not formally declared war, we were using pirates to raid their shipping lanes. And most of these pirates were financed from London and took their cargo to London. And one of the things that the Spanish were trading in at the time was slaves. And so this explains how they actually got to England.
Right.
I don't know whether they got all the way up to Scotland, but I know they were in England. So, of course, the pirates, not really caring about very much because they're pirates, released these slaves and let them loose in London, and they sort of spread out and wreaked havoc across the country. So yes, that's something I never knew happened in history.
No.
But there we are. So I also wanted to look at the Jacobites, and here we have a painting which is kind of comical. I mean, just looking at some of the faces. I don't know what happened to this guy, but this is, of course, depicting the Battle of Culloden, and which is obviously very famous. England putting down a Scottish rebellion. Jacobites were supporters of the Stuart dynasty of Scotland. They derived their name from Jacobus, the Latin name for James, and their movement peaked with the Jacobite Rising in 1745, led by the wee bonny Prince Charlie.
No, that's good.
Charles Edward Stuart.
Getting there.
And he sought to restore James II, who I believe was his father. I need Beau here to confirm all this stuff. And they wanted to return to the throne of England, Scotland and Ireland. And that was what this was all about, because I believe it was the Hanovers, wasn't it? Yes, it was. The House of Hanover. But the House of Hanover won in 1746 and the uprising was put down.
Was it that the House of Stuart lost during the Glorious Revolution of 1688, and then they tried to come back?
I think that might be the case, yeah. But
I think so, yeah.
I'm not as clued into my history as I should be. But
where was the king? Here.
Yeah.
Ancestors.
I don't know where his ancestors are not depicted on the battlefield. I suppose it must just be an act of racism from the painter here, despite not being able to get the faces of even English people correct, and some interesting looking Scots. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the painting, even though, war paintings tend to be quite cool. Another thing that he's claimed, where's the headline? There we go. The true Jerusalem is in Scotland,
Right.
and he claims to be the Jewish Messiah.
Right.
So he's really doubling up on the titles.
Yeah.
He's not only the King of Scotland, but also the Jewish Messiah. He's claimed to be the descendant of Jacobo, the biblical Jacob.
Wow.
Different pronunciation.
Quite a claim.
And argued that Jacob was black. Of course he did.
Of course.
It's worth mentioning as well that they've had their tents burnt down before, and I think it's just that Hamza Yusuf learnt that someone was actually a Zionist in Scotland.
Right.
Did it personally? I don't know. That's a joke, by the way. Don't arrest me. So another thing I spotted was the interesting choice of dress that they have. So it looks like he's got a sort of B&M fro as a cape, and she's wearing a poncho, which is definitely not Scottish. And in fact,
Got it from Oxfam.
I've got a prop for you today.
Oh, yes. I've been waiting for this.
So I'm
mentioned
prepared
about
for the
prop.
most middle-class thing ever. I'm going to pull out of
Waitrose bag.
I'm going to pull a poncho out of a Waitrose bag.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I actually have this poncho.
Oh. Yeah.
It's the same one, right?
That's the same one.
That's definitely the same
Yeah,
one.
that is the same one.
And do you know why I got this? Because obviously I'm not joining well, I'm going to try and wear this and turn up and join, but
Yeah.
obviously I'm not joining a Scottish cult. I bought this when I was at university, and my heating in my student accommodation was broken in a particularly cold November. And I was wearing like a t-shirt, a shirt, a jumper, and I was sick of wearing my coat inside all the time because it was so cold. And so I thought, why don't I get a poncho? That's about right, just to wear inside because I was cold, while I was waiting for the heating to be fixed. So I'm not some sort of dirty hippie, I bought it because I was cold and living in poverty as a student.
You were going through a phase.
Okay. You say so. But yeah,
Cold,
but this poncho was made in Tibet. It's a
cool.
Tibetan poncho. So it's got no connection to Scotland whatsoever. I think it's got vaguely sort of African-esque colours, and therefore she's sort of gone for it.
Yeah, I mean...
But she's from Texas, right? So she has no clue.
Yeah.
I think she's number 2. The other one was number 3 from Texas.
Okay. I can't tell.
I wonder where that jumper's from underneath as well.
Yes, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small world. Apparently, we own the same poncho, but it's not authentic dress. That is Tibetan. He's got authentic Chinese sweatshop made fro, so
Yep.
they've not got the drip for a Scottish royal house, really, have they?
No.
And who wants to see a video of them? Here they are. This is the only video I was able to find. It's only a minute long. Here he is with his pinecone crown.
Gosh.
Nice and laid back. Oh, here goes the eyes.
Kubala, Kubala. Iliswe. Kubala, Kubala. Iliswe. Siona is here. Blessed be the King of the North. Blessed be the Holy One of David. You are the Shishima. You are the Messiah. To lead all the chosen people, the Hebrews, to the promised land. May your excellence abound, O great one.
Kingdom of Kubala is an ancient kingdom
Yep.
which existed in the Great
Doesn't go into
Britain
detail.
400 years ago.
It was created when they were
This
expelled.
kingdom is a kingdom
weird.
for the Jacobites, the Highlanders of Scotland.
All in camp
True
chairs
walls.
like that. Crying out loud.
400 years ago, my ancestors were deported from this land.
Sorry, is she waving a
Most of them
peacock
were killed.
feather to try and keep him? That's not doing anything. That's not.
Too
That's
small,
not. That's not keeping anyone cool. Okay.
I just couldn't believe that this was.
Any thoughts, Stelios?
Yeah, he's a massive idiot. And it's one of those idiots who annoy me. It's not like that. I don't find it in the least endearing.
Yeah, it's not endearing. No, I agree. But good news because they were evicted. They were initially. You're right, Lewis. I didn't expect that. They were initially camped on Scottish Borders Council land, and they were evicted by the sheriff officers in July of 2024.
Right, pack it up. You're going home.
Bye bye,
Sorry, that
Kubala.
was Northern. Sorry about that.
And they apparently the council offered housing advice and support services, which is probably more than they deserve, and they're now believed to be camping in non-council land, so I presume private land that belongs to someone.
All right, not you again. Pack it in. All right, go home.
And one thing that's a bit sad is that the family of the missing Texas woman, because she was reported missing originally, and then they found out that she'd moved to Scotland to live in the woods with an African tribe. A bit of a change from Texas,
A little bit.
so yeah,
God.
she's a mother to a 1-year-old as well. I don't know whether she took the 1-year-old with her, but I don't think so. So she's just left her 1-year-old child in Texas, I presume. And she
She had
entered.
to respond to the calling of Mr. Ubala.
And she entered the UK on a 6-month tourist visa and kept her connection to this tribe hidden. Apparently, she found out about the tribe through Facebook, which is
Of course.
interesting place to find out about it.
The tribe, the kingdom social.
Radicalised spiritually by
Yeah.
the Facebook group.
One of her aunties said, "It's very stressful and difficult. It breaks our hearts. We're overly concerned about." I don't understand. We're overly concerned. She's saying we're too concerned about her. About Cora, spelt like Laura but with a K for some reason. But she doesn't think anyone is concerned about her. And then what she said about her family, this lady who was presumed missing, is, "I'm very happy with my king and queen. I was never missing. I fled a very abusive, toxic family who abused me sexually since I was a child, so you don't go missing to your abusers." But to my mind, if these people are coming out and going to the media saying, "Listen, we're worried about you," I would be surprised if all of her family were abusing her. Maybe it's some of them. It's a difficult thing to validate, isn't it?
I don't know, but I wouldn't say that the average child does this. So probably the background isn't the best.
There's certainly something going on here.
Yeah, 100%. There's something going
But I think that something could well be mental illness.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is just a curious story that I wanted to bring everyone's attention to. Of course, The points here being that these random people have just come up and set up, claiming to be kings in the Scottish woods. None of them are from here. All of them should be deported. And why are their children now in our care system? I don't want 7 African children here that we've got to now pay for from clearly mentally ill people. And they've got no business being here. They should at least be mentally assessed, because clearly there's something going on here that isn't normal. Need I say that even? And yeah, I think they probably do need help, but also they're not our burden. We shouldn't be putting up with this. It shouldn't exist. Doesn't belong in Britain. Bye-bye. And also, it's worth mentioning, I've got a channel, come up with some new videos recently. Got a good one about how cats can control your mind with parasites. Did a nice half an hour long one about why camping is great. Check it out.
Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellaheen condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotuseaters.com.